upon your arrival to our city to further discuss this item. Please respond as soon as possible. Now, I've not heard back from her. I sent another note today to indicate to her that we were still waiting. Now, again, let me just put this in perspective. The purpose for condemnation, and the Alabama League of Municipalities state very clearly that cities should never hesitate to condemn whenever there is a question about whether or not a piece of property, the ownership, or what it can be used for, etc. The purpose of the condemnation process is simply to initiate a legal process so that the whole matter can be cleared up. No one's talking about stealing anything or taking anything away. We're talking about hopefully resolving this in a very professional, calm, and dignified way. It is the press, I guess like Donald Trump always says, it is the press that looks to make a controversy out of something. As far as we're concerned, this is not a controversy. Calm, dignified dialogue is taking place in the community. We have discussed it in a calm and dignified manner here at the city government. We should continue to do this. This is no controversy. We're not proposing that anyone go and damage the facility or damage the statue. Instead, we simply would like to ultimately see it removed to a more appropriate place, either as they did in Union Springs, Madam President, to the Confederate Cemetery, or to the Tuskegee Cemetery, or to the History Center. We have a History Center here in the community. There's adequate space there for it to be placed. No one is talking about disrespecting anyone's history. We all are Southerners. It does not mean that we agree with all aspects of our Southern history, which has affected all of us. But these are things that we can resolve in a calm, dignified manner. And so when I talk about extending South Main northward, that's not the founder's decision. That's just simply one of the proposals for the park that can be used for public right-of-way, for parking, for public park purposes, for any public purpose. Some have raised the question about, well, they say the square, no one has had the problem of using the square in recent years whenever they wanted to use it. Well, that may be true, but the fact of the matter is the park was deeded to be used by only one race, and those of us who grew up in this city, I grew up in this city as a child from the age of 4 years on, and we could not walk through the square or be caught in the square after dark. No telling what would happen to you in this town. So there is a history. In recent years, when I became mayor the first time, I negotiated with the Daughters of the Confederacy because I had asked them in 1972 to move the statue because, quite frankly, we wanted the statue moved because at that time we wanted to put this building, the municipal complex, in the center of the square and go up and make the town square a pavilion concept. But at that time, we did not have a majority of the city council that was willing to vote to do anything. And the question has come up, well, why hasn't anything been done since then? Why now? Well, this is the only time that I know in history that we've had a city council that had the courage and the determination to at least address this issue. And ultimately, I hope, make some decision one way or the other. So we don't want anyone to get upset or get angry or mad. We're not going to disrespect. We're going to have dialogue on this. We're going to negotiate. I've asked the Daughters to say, let's sit down and see what we can work out. But it is the press that has made this a Confederate, a quote, Confederate conspiracy or controversy. There's no controversy as far as we're concerned about. Cities and governments ought to be able to talk about any issue, and we ought to be able to do it in a calm and rational way. And so condemnation is one step to get the process going. And indeed, listening to the attorney, we may not even need to go forward with condemnation, but we do need to let everyone know that we do mean business. And that is one way of clearing the air and dealing with this in a calm and rational way. So that's my statement on it, and I wanted the public to know where we stand on it. In particular, ma'am, since you have raised a question about being premature on condemnation. So I'll open it up for any comment. Mr. Pro Tem, you had wanted this subject revisited, so this would be.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to ask the council to revisit the move to condemnation with the attorney. We had asked for information to be presented to us, and I'd like the attorney to present a copy of the deed for us, so we can see the deed and understand the position that we're in. At that time, then we'll be in a better position to understand what we can do, what our options are at that point. As I indicated earlier, I'm not in favor at all of putting any kind of street through that square under any kind of conditions. I think it takes away from the total character of the community when we do that. So that's not even an option for me as far as a councilman, but I could be outvoted, I understand it. That's just my feeling about it. I think we should, I think the city should own it. I don't think the city should have any large piece of property like in the little city. The city does not own and control, so I fully support that. The use of it should be redeveloped for improvement of this city. There's a lot of options for this city to look better and to be better in the middle of town. However, I would ask that we revisit the authorization to move ahead so we can talk to the attorney about the potential costs, the legal costs for even exploring it, which we don't know. And I'd like to see a copy of the deed. So given that, I'm with you on most of it, but I'd ask that we revisit and table it until we have had a chance to meet with the attorney and actually see the deed. So I would make a motion that we revisit the move to act on condemnation, bring it back up on the table for consideration, and table it until we met with the attorney and take the proper procedures to understand the position we're in.
Mr. Pro Tem, point of clarification. Now, we've already taken action, so your action would be a move to table, which has precedent. Now, keep in mind, I want you to understand, and I want everyone else to understand, my action, recommendation to condemn, is not contingent on running the street. Running the street is just one of the options that I have clearly made, because one of the reasons I want to clear it up today is some people have been using that as an excuse for not wanting to see the statue move, saying that I don't want to see a street move sent through there. I have clearly made it clear that running a street through does address a public issue, but that's not the only issue. The park can be used for a public park, which is being used for now. This weekend we had a public event there. Right. Number two, if we need additional parking or sidewalks or whatever, any public issue. But I don't want you or anyone else to say that I said that condemnation was totally for the purpose of running the street.
Oh no, I didn't say that you said that totally. I just said I want to make clear my position.
Yeah, you made that clear before, that you don't want the street, and Councilor Maxwell, Whitehead said that she, yeah, a lot of people don't like the street idea. That's fine. But the only reason the street idea comes is because of the traffic, et cetera, et cetera. But that's just one of the options, okay? All right, but we're clear on it. Can we, before we take a vote on the motion or entertain a motion, hear from other members of the council? You were saying you want to hear, I think, let's hear from the attorney. Don't you want to hear from the attorney, or you want to make a motion?
I want to make a motion to table pending the attorney's supplying us the information and copy of the deed.
Let's hear, out of courtesy, since the attorney we asked him to follow up on it. Have you found, he asked a question about this deed. Why don't you, if you don't mind, can we hear from the attorney, please?
Yes, but just as a point of order, you do have a motion that's pending. Probably it would be proper to take a second one, and then I'll be happy to advise. But you've got a motion that's been made.
Well, before we vote on a motion, we'd like to hear from you. What's your report?
Right.
So we'll know clearly. He's asking us to table pending your report. What's your
I'll go ahead.
I would draw the motion until.
Yeah, let's hear
Right.
what.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Good evening. Mr. Mayor Pro Tem was interested in having for everyone a copy of the deed that purports to convey the portion of the square, or the square itself, to the daughters of the United Daughters of the Confederacy. And thus far, and we've researched and searched the records as far back as St. Gold in the probate office, we have found no public record of a deed going from the Macon County Commission to the United Daughters of the Confederacy. And there are some minutes that speak to it, but there's no deed in the probate records that say it. As many understand, it takes records that are recorded in probate for people to rely upon to determine ownership. So there is nothing in the records of the probate office that indicates that the United Daughters of the Confederacy owns the square. There is a deed from the Daughters of the Confederacy to the city, where it conveys the outer portion of the square, or the parking area, actually. Then the other thing, of course, is that an entity cannot convey that which it is not owned. So there are still some unresolved issues. The county appears to own it. I say appears to, but we have still not found the deed into the county. But indications of that the county probably owns it, and we're still working on it.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Honorable council members, any comments? Yes, sir.
So if it is determined that the Daughters of the Confederacy do not own the square, that the county indeed owns it, with the statue in the middle, the property of the county as well, that's their property?
I hadn't considered that at all, and so I'm not prepared to answer that question, Mr. Council. That's a good law school question.
Any other council members? Yes.
Would we possibly meet with the lady, Mrs. Edwards?
Mrs. Edwards.
Well, when we meet with her, maybe she would have some information or some deed or whatever.
The matter's not in the program, so it doesn't exist.
Well,
I still say she might have.
well, she indicates in writing that they do have the deed, but that is to be determined. That's why you go through the condemnation process and clear up all of that. That's really the only purpose. Not saying that we're going to go through the expense of that, but that's the process. Your Honor.
Mr. Attorney,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, now, we researched it, and your report to us is that there is no deed to be found.
That's
No.
correct.
Okay, that's number one. Now, if another party says they have the deed, but it's not recorded, does that mean anything? Since we
No.
couldn't find it, right?
Right. Well,
And they
since-
say they have it.
right. Well,
So
that's
that's a legal issue. Would that have to be solved through the courts?
it would.
Okay.
But the reason that deeds are recorded in the probate office. And so that everyone knows who owns a certain piece of property.
Exactly.
Otherwise, a person could theoretically say the property that you own where your house is. A person from the outside could sell your house. You know, they can buy a deed out and sell it to someone else. But then when they look to see what the person actually has bought, they'll find that they haven't bought anything because you have the title to the property and you own it.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney.
Okay.
Okay, did you still have further comment?
I think I'm clear.
Okay, good.
I'm clear.
Okay, Mr. Pro Tem.
I make a motion to table pending we meet with the attorney. I'd like to ask to go into executive session. There's some sensitive things going on here that I think we need to discuss. And one thing I want to say to all the citizens, I've heard from a lot of different people, and I've been to those sessions. Nobody has a deed. Nobody has a deed. It's something that important, nobody has a deed. City doesn't own the property, county doesn't own the property, those Confederacy say they got it, but they don't show it. It's almost like this is a joke. I mean, this is that serious. Somebody needs to come put it on the table. And it should be recorded somewhere, or else you're irresponsible. And then if people want to talk about what they want us to do, we need to see something serious. That's why I was saying we need to table this and talk about it and figure out what's going on here. Because somebody's playing around with somebody. I have never seen a situation that will be this serious where there's not something recorded in a public sense by public bodies. A public body supposedly has sold his property or deeded to another body, which doesn't even show where it is. This doesn't make any sense to me. So I think we need to take a moment, table what we're doing, regroup, and go into executive session to discuss this. Because we took action on information that we received last week. So I kindly ask